hey, here's a fun little clip, something that was taught to me that I'm going to share with you. If you've sat in any of my tarot or mindfulness workshops or courses, you've likely seen me demonstrate this little theory before, but I thought I'd make a video because every time I demonstrate it, I always get the same response. Oh my God, that's so helpful. So I'm hoping that this will help you. So what I'm demonstrating is, obviously we know Russian dolls, nesting dolls, babushkas, we can call them what they like, we all know what they are. So what I'm demonstrating is the aspects of the self. The beautiful thing about this demonstration is that you can apply it to absolutely anything. If you're doing yoga or you study the yogic path, you can apply this to the 5 sheaths or koshas. If you've done any hermetic work or any of the initiatory sequences, you'll recognize it as that coming back into the self, drawing down the different aspects of the self, drawing down different aspects of yourself to make yourself centered, whole, and complete. So drawing the soul into the self and bringing the physical aspects, aligning everything. From a tarot-based perspective, it aligns really nicely with both the major arcana and the minor arcana, and it explains how you can work with the tarot from a more self-development perspective. And from a mindfulness-based perspective, you can apply it just beautifully, because mindfulness is all about the self. And in mindfulness, the more understanding and awareness of the self that you have, the better your mindfulness becomes, because essentially that's what mindfulness is about, understanding the self and self-awareness. So what do these little nesting dolls have to do with you and understanding you better? So let's go for it. This little doll here is you, okay? And this outer layer that doesn't quite fit around the waist, I'm having that problem right now, is your physical self. This, on the next layer down, this is your emotional self. And our next layer down, this is your mental self. Next layer down, this is your energetic self, also your freedom of choice. Okay, so keep that one in mind. And then right down in the center, you have the soul. Now, this is the fun part that I demonstrate to everyone, and everyone's like, oh, that makes so much sense. So a lot of the times we have this feeling that we're empty on the inside, okay, that we're missing something, that we're not whole and we're not complete, okay, and this feels like an inner feeling, okay, it doesn't feel very good, it feels like emptiness, okay, so the soul feels empty. So what people try and do is they try and find fulfillment in the physical. Doesn't fit. They try to find emotional fulfillment. That definitely doesn't fit. In fact, if you look at that, you're just consuming the soul with these outer layers. Your thoughts, positive thinking, it's got to fix me, right? Your thoughts aren't going to fix that. And one thing that we all tend to forget is that as much as we feel like we're empty on the inside, we're actually not. We're whole and complete. We don't come apart. We don't break, right? This is your authentic self. This is your soul. This is who you are. Small as you may feel some days, that's you. So, understanding your aspects a little bit better. Okay, fun little demonstration. I think you've already like, wow, okay, that helps a lot, which I really hope it does. But let's understand your aspects a bit better. So your physical aspect. Let's relate this to the tarot quick. So from a tarot-based perspective, your physical aspect would be your pentacles, your suit of pentacles. So when you're looking for perhaps to find fulfillment on a physical perspective, work with your suit of pentacles to see where you're lacking fulfillment, why you think you're lacking that fulfillment, where that lack possibly stems from, and how you can rectify that. And that's something you can take right down through all your layers. So your emotional would be your cups, your mental aspect would be your swords, and then obviously ones would then be your energetic self, with your major arcana representing the soul or the whole aspect of who you are. So how does this make life better for you? Well, when you look at it at the perspective of you have all these outer layers and the soul sitting on the inside, our little whole and complete soul that's right here. when you look at it from that perspective, you realize that everything that's outside of the soul, those 4 layers that sit on the outside of your soul, are just that. They're layers. Layers that you can pull apart, have a look inside. Yeah, I don't like that so much. I'm going to empty all of that out. And let's find something better to fill this with. But something physical so that it fits. Okay. We still have a little bit of work to do. We're not quite fitting, but that's okay. It's okay if you still have work to do. From the emotional perspective, well, there's a whole lot of old relationship stuff going on in here. Like, it's looking a little bit muggy in there. I think I need to empty that out as well and see if I can. Oh, well, that's just a perfect fit right there. And who's put myself back together? Why, me? Because that's the only person who can put yourself back together, is you. So that's what this fun little thing demonstrates. Is it demonstrates that something that I see so frequently, and I think a lot of us experience it sometime throughout our life, that feeling of emptiness, like something's missing. And then we try and fill that emptiness with all these external layers, not fully understanding that those external things aren't going to give you fulfillment. That fulfillment comes from this little guy here. Okay, because there's nothing empty, there's nothing actually missing. You've possibly been taught that something is missing. Perhaps someone has said to you when you were little, you'll find yourself one day. You've got work to do on yourself. You're not fully whole and complete yet. Or I can see you've been working on yourself, but I can also see something is missing. Okay, these are all damaging things to say to people. So if you've been saying that to anyone, go back and apologize, because that's definitely not okay. And if you've been saying it to yourself, definitely shame on you. Definitely go back and apologize to yourself, because that's definitely not okay. Don't be your worst critic. Right, so you want to put yourself back together, and you do that a layer at a time. If we're looking at this from the Hermetic perspective, from initiatories, and the core of why people do Hermetic based work, and here I'm talking about the teachings of Hermes Trismegistus, also known as the teachings of Thoth, if you're looking at it from an Egyptian based perspective. And this also aligns quite nicely with your 5 sheaths, and the overall core purpose of what yoga is for, which is essentially to get you to put yourself back into alignment, so that you don't feel like you're missing something on the inside, and that all your layers are back as they are meant to be. Okay, so this is essentially, whoa, a little squeaky on the emotions. So this is essentially what we are doing in pretty much any spiritual based work, where you're taking it from a religious perspective. So you have religious practices or a religious belief system that you follow, or you're following a specific spiritual philosophy, like the Hermetic teachings, or yoga, or Buddhism as well is a really beautiful one. Any of your spiritual teachings, this is essentially what they're aiming to get you to do. Is to realize that you're not empty on the inside, you are actually whole and complete. Fulfillment is already there, you're already full. Like you can't come apart, you're not broken. But perhaps your outer layers are out of alignment, and that's what you need to put back into alignment. And when you do that, once we've lost a little bit of weight and our waist fits back together, we feel more in alignment. We feel more in that flow. This is how you get to flow space. For those of you who have been in flow space, who have done that kind of work, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So flow space, put really simply, is that state of inner peace. Everything is alignment. Everything is as it's meant to be. You're not overly emotional about something. You're not overthinking on anything. Everything is just perfect. Okay, which is an odd thing to comprehend, because as humans, we're not meant to be perfect. We're not meant to have a perfect experience. But there is no other way to explain that state of alignment other than pure perfection. Because on the soul level, the soul is perfection. So I hope this helps. I hope it makes sense. And I hope that you can pull your layers apart, put them back together, And when you get to the core, you realize that you're not empty on the inside. Your layers are maybe just a little out of whack. Right, that's it for me. Hope you've enjoyed this. Hope it helps. And I'll catch you next time.